Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are covering the second part of the series on stock transfer process in SAP MM. In our earlier video, we covered the stock transfer process through inventory management route and purchasing route. We saw how we can transfer inventory from one plant to another through inventory management by posting movement type 301 for single step transfer and movement type 303 and 305 for two-step transfer. We also saw how we can do stock transfer through purchasing route, where we created a stock transport order with document type UB against which the supplying plant posted goods issue through movement type 351 and the receiving plant processed goods receipt through movement type 101. Now in both these processes that you can see on the screen here, we did all the transaction in MM module only. Now today we are going to see the third process where we'll use the MM SD integration route, and basically we'll be creating the SD related documents from the supplying plant side. We'll also see the difference between intra and inter-company code stock transfer process where we are using the delivery route. That is where we are using the SD MM integration route. So let's start. Now first let's see what is the intra-company code stock transfer process using the delivery method. That is using the MM SD integration method. So you have a company code under which you have two plant. One is the receiving plant and another one is the sending plant. Now in this case, the first step will be creation of the stock transport order by the receiving plant. Now this is the similar method that we use in the purchasing route also. We create a stock transport order with the same document type, that is document type UB. The T code would be ME21N. Now in the purchasing route, we saw that after we created the stock transport order, the sending plant issued the material through movement type 351. Now in this case, the sending plant will not use the inventory management route. Rather, the sending plant will use the SD route, and the sending plant will create a delivery against the STO. The T code will be VL10B and the document type, that is the delivery type, would be NL. Now once the sending plant creates a delivery, the sending plant will post a goods issue through T code VL02N. So you can see the difference here. In this case, the sending plant will be posting the goods issue against the delivery document. Now the movement type for this goods issue will be 641 in case you're doing a two-step transfer and 647 if you're doing a one-step transfer. So you can see the key difference here. Now movement type 351 is not getting posted. You are posting goods issue against the delivery and the movement type is either 641 or 647. Now once the goods issue has been done, the receiving plant will create the goods receipt. The movement type again will be 101 only, but this time you can create this goods receipt against the delivery document, that is the outbound delivery, or against the STO. If you create against the delivery document, then the whole delivery document flow will get updated, and in the sending plant also you will be able to see all the documents which have been posted in the flow. So you can see here it is a 4-step process. First you create a stock transport order, the document type is UB. Then you create a delivery from the sending plant side. The T code is VL10B and document type, that is the delivery type, will be NL. Then you post goods issue. The T code will be VL02N. The movement type will be 641, where you are going to use the two-step process. That is, first you post 641 and then you post the goods receipt. In case you are using a one-step process, then movement type 647 will get posted and 101 document, that is the goods receipt and receiving plant, will get posted simultaneously. Now we'll see this in SAP how we can do these processes, and once I complete the process, then I'll show you what is the configuration behind it, that how system recognizes that this kind of a stock transport order requires a delivery document to be created from the sending plant side. We need to do some SD related configurations and MM related configurations to tell the system that we are going to use the STO process with delivery. So first we'll create the stock transport order. So we'll go to T code ME21N. And this time again we'll select the document type as UB. Here we'll enter the supplying plant, the purchase organization, purchase group, and the company code. We'll enter the material code and the receiving plant here. We'll enter some quantity here and we'll press enter. Now you can see a new tab has appeared here, which is called shipping tab. Earlier when we created the stock transport order and used the MM route, this tab was not there. Let's see that purchase order. So you can see here, this was the purchase order against which we posted 351 movement type and then we created the goods receipt. Now in this stock transport order process, we use the MM route and delivery route was not used. You can see that shipping tab is not found in the item details. Okay. but this shipping tab has come up in this particular purchase order. So to follow the SD route, this shipping tab is very important and is mandatory. This shipping tab is populated by doing some configurations in the system, and once you do the configurations, then only the shipping tab will come in the item details section. And through this shipping tab only, the system will understand that this stock transport order is to be considered as a sales order for the supplying plant, and the supplying plant will be able to create the delivery document against this stock transport order. Now we'll see the configuration, that how the shipping tab has populated and what all details are there in the shipping tab. But right now I'll show you the whole process first, and then we'll go to the configuration. So first we'll save the stock transport order. Now against this stock transport order, we have to create the delivery document. That is, the supplying plant will be creating a delivery document. So we'll have to go to T code VL10B. So we'll go to T code VL10B. We'll enter the purchase order here and we'll execute. So you can see system has given a line here. We'll click on background. We'll select this line and click on background. And you can see the delivery document has been created. To see the delivery document, we'll go to this purchasing document. And in the purchase order history, you can see the delivery document has been created for 5 quantity that was there in the stock transport order. Now against this delivery document, we have to post the goods issue. So to do that, we'll open the delivery document from here itself. We'll go to the change mode. Then we have to go to the picking tab. And here we have to enter the picked quantity and the storage location from where you are going to issue the material. So you can see this is the supplying plant, the storage location and the picked quantity. And then we have to click on post goods issue. So you can see here the goods issue document has been posted. To display that document in the purchase order history, we'll again display this purchase order. So we'll enter the same purchase order and click enter. Now you can see a 641 document has been created. So this is the goods issue document that we have posted against this particular delivery document. So this time we have not posted the 351 document against this stock transport order. What we have done is, from the supplying plant, first we created a delivery document through VL10B, and then we did the goods issue through VL02N. Now what we did is, we directly went to this delivery document through purchase order history. But if you have the delivery document with you, you can go to VL02N also. Let me just show you that step. So you have to go to T code VL02N and enter the delivery document and then press enter. And then you can go to the picking and then post goods issue. Now we have already done that step, so we are not going to do it now, but you can do by this process also, or you can directly click this particular link here, go to the delivery document, go to change mode and post the goods issue. Now the movement type in this case is 641, as you can see here. Now let's open this material document and let's see what all financial document got posted. So we'll click on FI documents. So you can see accounting document has been created. If we double click here, we can see that the same kind of document has been posted, as it got posted in 351 movement type. You have 2 lines here, one a credit line for the supplying plant and one debit line for the receiving plant. So you have an inventory GL with credit entry for the supplying plant and a inventory GL with a debit entry for the receiving plant. Now these 2 plants belong to the same company code, so you have one accounting document getting generated under the parent company code. In the next step, what we have to do, we have to create the goods receipt against this outbound delivery. Now what we have to do is, we have to create the goods receipt against this particular stock transport order. Now we have 2 options. Either we can create the goods receipt against the stock transport order, or we can create the goods receipt against this outbound delivery. Now it is recommended that you use this outbound delivery route, so that this outbound delivery also gets updated with the GR document. So you have a full document flow being shown on the SD side also, that is on supplying plant side also, and in the receiving plant side also. So how we do this goods receipt? So we'll go to T code MIGO again. So we'll go to T code MIGO. We'll select goods receipt, and this time we are going to select outbound delivery and we'll press enter. So you can see the quantity has come up here. We'll click on item OK and we'll click on post. So now you see system is asking me to enter the storage location. So earlier when we posted the goods issue, we posted the value. Now we are posting the quantity in the receiving plant storage location. So we have to enter the storage location here. So we'll enter the storage location and then we'll click on post. Now you can see the 101 document has been created. Now will there be any financial document getting created in this process? The answer is no, because the financial document we posted at 641 stage itself. This GR document only has placed the quantity in the storage location of the receiving plant. So let's verify that. So we'll go to display of this 101 document, press enter. If you go to document info, click on FI document, you can see no subsequent document has been found in accounting. That is, no financial entry has been posted in this 101 document. So it is similar to the previous process where we posted 351 and 101. Here also we posted 641 where the financial document got posted and the value got transferred from the supplying plant to the receiving plant. And then we posted a goods receipt where we posted 101 where no financial document got posted and the quantity was placed in the receiving plant storage location. Now all these documents we can verify in the purchase order history also. So if we display the stock transport order, we can see in the purchase order history the delivery document was created for 5 quantity, then the goods issue was posted and the goods receipt was posted. So in the same stock transport order you can see all these 3 entries happening. Now this is a 2-step process. So when you post the 641 document, system puts the stock in transit. Let's verify that. So what we are going to do is we are going to increase the quantity of the stock transport order, and again we'll do that process. Let's save the stock transport order. And again we'll create a delivery document. So we'll go to VL10B and we'll enter the purchase order here, execute, click on background, we'll open the stock transport order, and this time you can see this new delivery document has been created. We'll open this, go to change mode, we'll enter the picked quantity, enter the storage location, and then we'll click on post goods issue. Now you can see the 641 document has been created. We'll again display this STO, and you can see this 641 document has been created for which 101 has not yet been created. Now let's see the stock in transit report. So we'll go to MB5T. We'll go to MB5T now, enter the material code, and we'll enter the receiving plant code here. And if we execute, you can see 5 quantity is lying in transit against this particular stock transport order. Similar as we did in the previous process where we posted 351 document. So unless you post 101 document against this 641 document, you can see here we have posted a material document for which we have not posted 101. You will see the stock lying in transit in the report MB5T, and you will be able to see the stock transport order also. Now let us create the GR again. So we'll go to MIGO, go to goods receipt against outbound delivery, and we'll enter the delivery number here, press enter. We'll again enter storage location, click on item OK, and then we'll post. Now let us see the stock in transit report. If we go back again and execute, now you can see stock in transit has been removed because you have created the 101 document. We'll again display the stock transport order. So you can see this 101 document has been created. Now if you want to see the document flow in the delivery document, what we have to do is you can go to this delivery document and you can click on this particular button, that is to show the document flow. And here you can see this was a stock transport order, then a delivery got created, then a picking request, then a 641 document was created, and this goods receipt was created against this 641. So you have a full document flow being shown in the delivery document also. And this has only happened because we had selected goods receipt against outbound delivery and not goods receipt against the purchase order. So that is very important, that unless you select goods receipt against outbound delivery in the MIGO transaction, this document flow you will not be able to see. So this is how you do the intra company code stock transfer process. Now let's see what is the configuration behind this process, that how we created this purchase order and we got this particular shipping tab here. You can see here in this stock transport order you have this shipping tab which was not there in the previous purchase order. If we open the previous purchase order where we used the MM route, where we posted 351 document, you can see no shipping tab was appearing in this particular item detail. But in this particular purchase order, you can see the shipping tab is here. And because of this shipping tab only, system recognize this stock transport order as a sales order for the supplying plant, and we were able to create the delivery document and do the goods issue against that delivery document. So let's see the configuration, that how the shipping tab is appearing here. So first let's discuss what is the configuration behind using the delivery route in the STO process. So to use the delivery process, we need to have these 4 things in place. Unless you have all these 4 settings done in the system, you will not be able to use the delivery route in the STO process. Now what are these 4 areas? First, you need the SD related config, that is the supplying plant has to behave like a vendor, that is the supplying plant has to get into SD process, and to do the SD related process you need to have a sales area in place. The sales area will be responsible for doing all the SD related transactions against the particular stock transport order. And what does this sales area contain? It contains the sales organization, the distribution channel, and the division. So first what you will do is, you will create a sales organization, you will create a distribution channel, and you will create a division that will be responsible for doing all the stock transfer processes from the supplying plant. Okay. Then you will assign the sales organization to the company code of the supplying plant. You will assign the distribution channel and division to the sales organization, and through that you will set up the sales area, and then you will assign the sales organization, distribution channel, and the plant. Now these all configurations will be done by the SD people. This is a normal SD related configuration that is done for all SD related transactions, that you have to have a sales area in place which contains a sales organization, distribution channel, and division. This time for STO also we need to have this particular sales area in place. Once we have done this SD related config, then we have to create master data. Now what master data are involved in a sales process? You have a material code with a sales view, and you have a customer code on which this sales order is going to be placed. Now who is the customer in this scenario? The receiving plant is the customer. So what you have to do is, you have to first create a customer code for the receiving plant, and then you have to create the material or extend the material in the sales area that you just created here. So you have a sales area for the supplying plant. The material has to be extended in that particular sales area. So these two master data, that is the customer code for the receiving plant and the material master extended in the sales area of the supplying plant, is the requirement to create this kind of a stock transport order. Now one more thing you need to remember here is that the customer code that you have created for the receiving plant, this has to be extended in the sales area of the supplying plant. That is the sales area that you have assigned to the supplying plant. The customer code of the receiving plant has to be extended to that particular sales area. Now once you have created the master data, then you have to actually do the related configuration. We have just discussed that we have created a sales area, but this sales area has to be assigned to your supplying plant. How system will understand that this supplying plant is connected to this sales area? So to do that, we will go to the related configuration, where we'll actually define the shipping data for plant. The shipping data means, let's say that a plant is behaving as a supplying plant. So what it needs? It needs a sales area. It needs a sales organization, a distribution channel, and a division. Let's say that the same plant now behaves as a customer. That is, now the plant has become a receiving plant. Then what it needs? It needs a customer code. So these two assignments are very important. That is, a sales area to a plant and a customer code to a plant. When the plant behaves as a supplying plant, it will use that sales area. When the plant behaves as a receiving plant, it will use that customer code. So this is very important, that you have to define shipping data for the plant, which contains the sales area that you have defined here and the customer code that you have defined here. Then once you have defined the shipping data, then you have to assign the delivery type, because when system will post the delivery against the stock transport order, it has to pick a delivery type from the system. So what you will do is, you will assign a delivery type, and where you will assign this? You will assign to the supplying plant and the stock transport order document type. So system has to understand that you are selecting this document type, you are entering the supplying plant, then this delivery type will have to be picked up when you are going to create the delivery. Okay, so this is also a very important step. And then the third step is, that whether you want to do a single step or a two-step delivery process. Now, just now we saw that we did a two-step delivery process. That is, we first created 641 and then created 101. But you can configure in this way that these two documents are posted in one go only, and there the movement type will not be 641, the movement type will be 647. We'll see in the system where this configuration is done, and we'll see the demo also that when we do this configuration, how system creates these two documents, that is the goods issue and goods receipt document, in one go only. Okay, so this is the third related configuration. And then the last configuration which is required to actually populate that shipping tab in your stock transport order is to do the logistic execution configuration. What does this mean? You have assigned the sales area to the supplying plant, but a shipping point also is required for a system to understand that from where the material is going to be shipped. What you have to do is you have to create a shipping point here, then you have to assign the shipping point to the plant, and then there is another configuration where you have to assign a proposed shipping point to the supplying plant, shipping condition and loading group combination. Now, what is the shipping condition and loading group? The shipping condition is connected to the customer side, that what kind of shipping condition you have with the customer. Now, who is the customer here? The receiving plant is the customer. So in the customer code of the receiving plant, you will maintain this shipping condition. Okay. And what is a loading group? Loading group tells that what kind of loading happens for the material. So loading group is part of the material master. So this loading group you will enter in this particular material master that you create for the sales area of the supplying plant. So you have a shipping condition in the customer code of the receiving plant, you have a loading group in the material master, and these two combined with the supplying plant will give you the proposed shipping point. So you can see here we have four factors here. One is the sales area that we defined. Then you have master data which contains the customer code of the receiving plant, and you have a material code. Then you have related configuration through which these two you have connected, and then you have assigned a delivery type, and then you have told the system that whether you have to post a single step or two step delivery and receipt, and then finally you have assigned a shipping point. And based on all these four combinations, you will have that tab appearing in the stock transport order. Now let's see that tab and understand where these informations have come up. So you can see here the shipping tab came automatically when we created this purchase order. Now you have sales area appearing here. You have a sales organization, distribution channel and division. This has come up from the supplying plant configuration. We'll see that configuration in a while, but let's first see what all fields have come up in the shipping tab. So you have a sales area here. Then you have a customer code appearing here. Now what is this customer code? This is the customer code for this receiving plant. Okay. We have assigned the customer code to this receiving plant, and from there this customer code is coming here. Then you have a delivery type NL. This thing you have to remember that for intra company code stock transfer, the delivery type will be NL. Okay. And based on this delivery type only, system will post all the documents. Then this is very important, that is the shipping point. As I told you, this shipping point comes from the supplying plant, the shipping condition and the loading group combination. The shipping condition we have entered in this customer code. The loading group we have entered in this particular material code sales view. Let's see these two master data. So to see the material code, we'll go to MM03. We'll go to MM03, enter the material code. And here we have to select sales organization, data 1, data 2 and sales general. We'll press enter. Here we have to enter the supplying plant and the sales organization and distribution channel. Now where we have assigned this sales organization and distribution channel, let's see that configuration first. So we'll go to SPRO. SAP reference IMG. We'll go to materials management, purchasing, purchase order. This link that you see here, set up stock transport order, will go here. And here the first configuration is define shipping data for plants. So we'll go to define shipping data for plants. And here we have to enter the supplying plant. We'll press enter and we'll open this particular configuration. So we'll double click here. Now you see there are two sections. One is the customer number for the plant and one is the sales area for this plant. This customer number will be used when you use this plant for the receiving side. That is when you enter this plant in the receiving plant in the stock transport order. This sales area will be used when you use this plant as a supplying plant. So now in the current case, what we are going to do is we are going to use this plant as a supplying plant. So this sales area is important. Everywhere you will see this sales area appearing here. Let's see in our stock transport order. So you can see here the sales organization Z001, distribution channel Z1 and division Z1. This has come up from this particular configuration that you see here. Now you can see there is a customer code also appearing. Now this customer code pertains to which plant? It pertains to the receiving plant. Okay, so let's see the configuration for the receiving plant also. So this is the receiving plant Z287. We'll double click here and you can see the customer code is appearing here. Now the same customer code is appearing in our stock transport order. You can see here. So from this particular configuration, that is assigned shipping data to plant, every configuration is coming that is related to the sales area and the customer. Customer comes from the receiving plant configuration and sales area comes from the supplying plant configuration, and this configuration is in the same link which you can see here. So you have to assign a customer code when this plant will behave as a receiving plant. You have to assign a sales area when this plant will behave as a sending plant. Okay. So we were seeing the material master. So what was the sales area for our supplying plant? Again, if you go to this link, we can see the sales area is Z001, Z1 and Z1. So for this material code, we have to go to plant Z286, sales organization Z001 and distribution channel Z1. Now you can see all these master data is related to SD. And once you enter all these master data, system will be able to post the documents. So we'll go to sales organization 2. You can see the item category group. These are important SD related fields. Then we go to sales general plant. And here you can see the loading group is entered here. The same loading group which appeared in our stock transport order also. You can see here the loading group has appeared from the material master sales area related master data. So this 0001 is entered here. Now let's verify this customer code also. So we'll go to T code XD03, press enter. We'll enter the customer code here. The company code will be the company code for the supplying plant, and the sales area, that is sales organization, distribution channel and division, will be the sales area of the supplying plant, because this customer code we have to extend in the sales area of the supplying plant. So we'll enter the sales area here, the same sales area which is mentioned in the configuration for the supplying plant. We'll press enter. System will send me to the BP transaction. Now here I have to select FLCU01 to see the sales related master data. We'll go to sales and distribution. We'll go to shipping and you can see the shipping condition 01 is appearing here. The same shipping condition which appeared in the purchase order shipping data tab. Okay. So based on combination of supplying plant, shipping condition and loading group, this shipping point has been determined. Let's see that configuration also. So we'll go to SPRO, go to SAP reference IMG, and this time we have to go to logistic execution, shipping, basic shipping functions, shipping point and goods receiving point determination. And here you have assigned shipping points. So let's enter shipping condition here, the loading group and the supplying plant here and press enter. So you can see here the proposed shipping point is 2806. So from this configuration, system has populated this shipping point here. And this delivery type is determined by combining the document type and supplying plant. Let's see that configuration also. So we'll go back from here. And you can see here you have configured delivery type and availability check procedure by plant. If you go here, if we enter the document type, so here the document type is UB and the supplying plant will enter here and we'll press enter. So you can see here the delivery type is maintained as NL. Now this is very important configuration. System can only determine the delivery type when you have done this configuration, that you have connected the stock transport order document type and the supplying plant, and you have entered a delivery type here. Now the same delivery type got populated in our stock transport order that you can see here. Now the last configuration we'll see here is the assign document type one step procedure, and under delivery tolerance here we'll assign whether you want to do a single step or a two-step procedure. Now just now we posted the 641 document and then we posted 101 document, so we did a two-step procedure. But if you want to do a one-step procedure, then this is the configuration here. So if you open this, so here you can see you can assign a supplying plant, a receiving plant, a document type, and this checkbox will tell the system that whether you want to do a one-step procedure or a two-step procedure. Now currently what we did was we did a two-step procedure where we posted 641 and then we posted the 101 document. Now let us see the configuration for our current plant. So we'll enter the supplying plant and we'll enter the receiving plant. So you can see the one step has not been selected. So when we posted the goods issue against the delivery document, system only created a 641 material document and then we created the goods receipt. Now let's activate this checkbox and let's save this configuration. Now we'll do one more cycle and see what changes have been done by the system now. So let's create a new stock transport order. We'll select the document type again, enter the supplying plant, enter the purchase organization, purchase group, company code. We'll enter the same material code here, enter some quantity here, and we'll enter the receiving plant here. We'll press enter. So you can see shipping tab has come. All those configurations that we just saw now, everything has come here. We'll save this STO. Now in the next step, what we have to do, we have to create the delivery first. So we'll go to VL10B, enter the stock transport order here, execute. We'll select this, click on background. Then we'll open this STO. We'll go to purchase order history. Now this time I'll go to VL02N route, so we can see that transaction also. So we'll copy this delivery document and we'll go to VL02N. And here we'll press enter. We'll go to the picking tab and we'll enter the picked quantity. We'll enter the storage location. Now if you want to verify the movement type which is going to be posted against this delivery document, you can verify in this particular tab also. If you go to goods movement data, you can see the movement type is 647. Now earlier the movement type was 641. Now why system has picked movement type 647? Because of this configuration that we have done. You can see here the supplying plant and receiving plant and document type have been assigned to a one-step procedure. So this time what system will do? System will post the movement type 647 and movement type 101 simultaneously. Okay. So now let's post the goods issue. Now you can see here system is giving me a storage location error. Now already we have entered a storage location here. You can see in the picking tab I have entered a storage location. But still if I am clicking on post goods issue, I am getting an error that you have to enter a storage location. Now why this error is coming? Now as I have told you, this time we are going to post both the document, that is 647 and 101 simultaneously. So system will try to post a goods receipt also, and goods receipt posting is not possible without storage location. Now from where the storage location will be picked? So to do that, what we have to do is we'll have to enter this storage location in the stock transport order itself. So we'll go to the stock transport order, we'll go to change, and here we have to enter the storage location. So this is very important that when we are going to use the one-step procedure, you have to enter the storage location in the receiving plant side also in the stock transport order. Earlier we were entering the storage location in the MIGO transaction when we posted the 101 document. We had that option, but now since system will post 101 in the background, so the storage location in the stock transport order is required. So we'll save this stock transport order now. And then again, we'll go to VL02N, go to picking tab, we'll enter the picked quantity, we'll enter the storage location, and we'll click on post goods issue. So now you see documents have been posted. Let's verify these documents in the PO itself. So we'll go to the stock transport order. We'll go to the purchase order history. And now you can see system has posted a 647 and system has posted a 101 document also simultaneously. So this is all about the single step process, that when you want to post the goods issue and the goods receipt at one go only, that is at one step only, then you have to do this particular configuration that you can see here. That is, the supplying plant, receiving plant and document type are connected through one step procedure. And when you posted this document, system automatically posted a 647 and a 101 document. Now the SD related configuration also we can verify. So we'll go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Then first we'll see enterprise structure, definition, sales and distribution, and here you define the sales organization. Okay. So we'll just see the data in the system now. So we'll open Z001. So this was the sales organization created for this particular company code 2806. Now where we can assign the sales organization. So we'll go to the enterprise structure assignment, sales and distribution, and assign sales organization to company code. So here you can see if I enter the sales organization, you can see this has been assigned to this particular company code. So this is the second step. Then you have to create the distribution channel and the division. So we'll go to definition, sales and distribution, and here you can see define, copy, delete, check distribution channel. So we'll go here, define distribution channel, and you can see this distribution channel was created for the supplying plant Z1. Okay. Now once you have defined the distribution channel, then again you can go to the assignment and assign distribution channel to sales organization. So here you assign. So we'll enter the sales organization we just saw now and the distribution channel. So you can see this has been assigned here. Okay. Now assign division to sales organization. Here also you can assign division to the sales organization. So let's verify that. So we'll enter the division here. So you can see the sales organization has been assigned to the division. And here you set up the sales area, that is this combination of sales organization, distribution channel and division. So we'll enter the sales organization here, the distribution channel and the division, and you can see all these three are assigned. And here you have assigned sales organization, distribution channel and plant. So if you go here, you can enter the sales organization here, distribution channel and the supplying plant. So all these combinations are there in the system that will be done by the SD consultant. You either can verify it or you can create your own sales area and assign in this manner. Now once you have done all these assignment of SD related data, now let me show you the division configuration also. So we'll go to definition. So to create the division, we have to go to enterprise structure, definition, logistics general, and here we can create the division. Okay. So if you go to define division, you can see the Z1 has been created at this stage. So this is the division that has been created here, and we have already assigned it to the sales organization and distribution channel combination. Okay. Now once we have done all the SD related configurations, then we have to do the logistic execution related configurations. So for that we have to go to the definition, logistic execution, and here you can see define shipping point. Okay. So here you define first the shipping point for your supplying plant. So we have this particular shipping point here, and here you can assign your plant to the shipping point by going to assignment, logistic execution, and assign shipping point to plant. So if you can see here, if I enter the plant here, you can see this plant has been assigned to this particular shipping point. Okay. Now let us see how we can do a intercompany code stock transfer process through delivery route. Now here we'll see that the process is entirely different, and you have multiple other documents that you have to create when you are going to do the intercompany code stock transfer process. So let's see that. So now let's see the business process of intercompany code stock transfer. we'll see what all steps we'll be doing for intercompany stock transfer process. So in this particular case, you have two company codes. You have a receiving company code and a sending company code. Under these company codes, you have respective plants, that is the receiving plant and the sending plant. Now the first step will be done by the receiving plant. The receiving plant will create a stock transport order, but this time the document type will be NB. In earlier case, when we did the intra-company code stock transfer, we used the document type as UB, but here we'll use the document type as NB, and here we'll enter the supplier code of the plant in the respective field. Earlier in the document type UB, we entered the supplying plant, but this time we are going to enter the supplier code. Now in the next step, the sending plant will create the delivery against this stock transport order. The T code will be VL10B, but the delivery type will be NLCC. That is, the delivery document type will be NLCC. In case of intra-company code stock transfer, the delivery document type was NL, but here the delivery document type will be NLCC. Then in the next step, the sending plant will post the goods issue. The T code will be VL02N, but this time the movement type will be 643 for two-step process and 645 for one-step process. Earlier in the intra-company code, we saw the movement type was 641 and 647. Here the movement type will be 643 for two-step and 645 for single-step stock transfer. Then now in the next step, the sending plant has to create a billing document. As you can see here, the sending plant will create a billing document through T code VF01. The billing type will be IV, and the receiving plant will create the goods receipt against this outbound delivery. So you can see here is the major difference between intra and intercompany code. In intra-company code, we did not create any invoice against this delivery document. We simply did the goods receipt, but this time what we are going to do is we are going to create an invoice against the delivery document. The billing type will be IV, and at the receiving plant end, we'll post the goods receipt against this delivery document. Then in the next step, this receiving plant will also post an invoice through T code MIGO. So you can see here, this is also an additional step that we do in intercompany code stock transfer. We have to process the MIGO against this stock transport order. So you can see here, this is the whole process of intercompany code stock transfer. You create a stock transport order, document type is NB. Then you create a delivery, the document type is NLCC. Then you post goods issue. This time the movement type is 643 for two-step process and 645 for single-step process. Against this delivery, the receiving plant posts a goods receipt, and the sending plant will create an invoice also. Now, after the goods receipt is done by the receiving plant will also process the invoice through MIGO transaction. So you can see there are two parts of this process. The receiving plant actually does the procure to pay process, and the sending plant does the order to cash process. So this is the MM process being done by the receiving plant, and this is the SD process which is done by the sending plant. You can see here. So you have a procure to pay process happening at the receiving plant side and order to cash process happening at the sending plant side. Now let's see what all financial document will get posted in the whole process. So when you post the goods issue against the delivery document, you have a credit entry against the inventory line of the sending plant. And here you have a consumption posting happening against the cost of goods sold account. So you can see here, this is different from intra-company code stock transfer. In the intra-company code, you had only two lines posted, where you had a credit line for the sending plant inventory and a debit line for receiving plant inventory. Here, when you post goods issue, first the system posts like a sales document. The system posts a credit entry for the inventory and a debit entry against the consumption GL. That is the cost of goods sold GL. Then in the next step, when you post the goods receipt, system posts the financial document as it posts in a normal purchase order which you place on any vendor. So here the financial entries are, you have a debit entry against the inventory for the receiving plant and a credit entry against the GRIR clearing account. Now here, since we are doing the procure to pay process, so the financial document will be similar as it happens in the procure to pay process. So you have a debit entry for the inventory and a credit entry for the GRIR clearing account. Now when you post the invoice against the delivery document, then you have a credit entry against the customer. In this case, this is the receiving plant, and a credit entry against the sales revenue GL. So you can see here also you will have a financial document getting posted. And then when you process the invoice through MIGO transaction, you will have the similar accounting document which gets posted when you process the invoice of any vendor. That is, the GRIR account will get cleared and you have a credit entry against the vendor. In this case, the vendor is the supplying plant. So you can see here 4 sets of accounting documents are getting posted in this whole process at each stage. That is when you post goods issue, when you post goods receipt, when you create a billing document against the delivery, and when you process the invoice against the stock transport order. In all these 4 stages, you have separate financial document getting posted. So this is all about the intercompany code stock transfer process. Now we'll see in SAP how we can do all these steps, and we'll verify at each stage what all financial documents are getting posted. So let's see in SAP now. So now let's see how we can do this intercompany stock transfer process in SAP. So first we have to create a stock transport order. So we'll go to ME21N. And this time we are going to select the document type as NB. Now you saw that in intra-company code stock transfer process, we selected the document type as UB. But in this case, we are going to create a normal purchase order as we create on any vendor. And that's why we'll select the document type as NB. And here we'll enter the supplier code of the supplying plant. So first you have to create the vendor code for a supplying plant, and then you have to enter that vendor code here. Now, if we have already created the supplier code against the plant code, then we can find out through this table. So we'll go to SE16N and we'll enter T001W here. You have to enter the supplying plant here. So I'll enter the supplying plant and we'll execute. So you can see here, this supplier number has already been created for this supplying plant. Now this vendor code you can also verify through T code XK03. So let's verify that. So we'll go to XK03. We'll enter this vendor code and we'll press enter. So the system will send you to the BP transaction. As you know, in S4, you have business partner under which you will create the vendor code. So you have this business partner against that vendor code. And if you select the BP role as FLVN01, okay, so you have to select this role. And then if you go to vendor general data, you have this plant assigned here. So in this way, a plant is assigned to a vendor code. You can see the vendor code is appearing here. The business partner is appearing here. And this vendor code is assigned to this particular plant. And when this plant will behave as a supplying plant for intercompany code stock transfer, you have to enter this supplier code. Earlier in intra-company code stock transfer, you were entering directly the plant code. But this time we are going to enter this vendor number in the purchase order. So let's enter that. So we'll enter this vendor code here and we'll press enter. Then we'll enter the purchase organization, the purchase group, and the company code. Now this particular vendor code has to be extended to this particular purchase organization. Then only I'll be able to create this purchase order. Now we'll enter the material here. We'll enter a quantity. We'll enter the net price and the receiving plant. Now this plant belongs to a separate company code. That is, this plant belongs to the company code which is different from the company code to which our supplying plant belongs. So we'll enter the receiving plant and we'll press enter. Now you can see in this particular stock transport order, you are manually entering the price. In earlier cases, you were not entering the price was being taken from the supplying plant's material value. But in intercompany code stock transfer, you can enter the price at which the invoice processing has to be done. Okay, so we have entered the price here and you can see the shipping tab has again appeared here. Now this shipping tab has appeared because of the configuration we just discussed. Now in intercompany code, the delivery type will be NLCC, and this configuration, let's see. So we'll go to SPRO. SAP reference IMG. We'll go to materials management, purchasing, purchase order, set up stock transport order, and here you have configure delivery type. Now the document type is NB and the supplying plant we have to enter here and we'll press enter. And here you can see the delivery type is maintained as NLCC. So this is very important that for cross company code transfer, that is for intercompany code transfer, you have to select the delivery type as NLCC. Okay. So as we have assigned here, so you can see the NLCC delivery type has appeared here. And all these configurations we have already discussed, which have appeared. That is the customer code of the receiving plant, the sales area of the supplying plant, and the shipping point determined through the shipping condition and loading group combination. Okay, these things we have already discussed. Now we'll save this purchase order. So you can see this purchase order has been created. Now this purchase order will behave as a sales order for the supplying plant. So we'll create the delivery through VL10B. We'll go to the purchase order tab and enter this purchase order here, and we'll execute. We'll select this line, click on background. So you can see delivery has been created. We'll open this purchase order here. And if you go to the purchase order history, you can find this delivery has been created. Now we have to post the goods issue against this delivery. So let's go to VL02N. And here we'll press enter. We'll go to picking. We'll enter the picked quantity, enter the storage location, and we'll click on post goods issue. So you can see the material document has been created. We can view this material document in the purchase order history itself. We'll again open this purchase order. And you can see this 643 document has been created. So you can see in the intercompany code stock transfer process, the movement type that is posted in two-step process is 643. Earlier in intra-company code, the movement type was 641. So you can see here the movement type which has been posted for intercompany code is 643. Now if you go to this material document, and if you go to the document info and click on FI documents, you can see the accounting document has been created. In earlier case also for intra-company code, the accounting document was created during 641 posting. Similarly, here also the accounting document has been posted in 643. But there is a major difference. The accounting document lines will be entirely different from the accounting document which got created earlier in the intra-company code. Let's see the accounting document now. So now you can see here one line is for the inventory, that is a credit entry where the inventory is being issued. But the second line is posted against the COGS account, that is cost of goods sold. So here you have a consumption GL and here you have an inventory GL. Earlier in the intra-company code, you had two inventory lines, one credit line for inventory for the supplying plant and one debit entry for the inventory of the receiving plant. But here you can see the postings are happening as it happens for a sales process, that the inventory gets reduced and the consumption is posted in the COGS account. And the transaction key you can see here, it is BSX for the inventory line and GBB for the consumption line. So you can see here this is different from the intra-company code, that when you post the goods issue, the goods issue happens as if it happens for a normal sales order. That is, your inventory gets reduced and a consumption booking is done. You can see here. Now in the next step, what we have to do is we have to create a billing document against this delivery document. So we'll go to VF01 and you have delivery document here. We'll click on save. The billing document has been created. Now once we have created the billing document, we can display the billing document from the purchase order history also. So we'll go to ME23N. And here if you go to the delivery document, you can click on this delivery document flow. And here you can find the intercompany billing document was created. And you can see accounting document has also been created. If you go to this billing document, click on display, you can see that the billing document was created. And if you go to the accounting document and click on display, here you can see there is a debit entry against the customer and a credit entry against the sales revenue account. So this is the financial entry which will get posted when we post the billing document. In the debit side, you will have the customer. Now this customer is again the receiving plant. That is the configuration we did where we attach the plant to the customer. This is the same customer for the receiving plant, and this is the sales revenue account against which a credit entry has been posted. Now what we have done, we have created a stock transport order, we have created delivery, we have created the billing document. Now the receiving plant will do its activities. That is, first the receiving plant will post a goods receipt. So to post the goods receipt, we'll go to MIGO. Let's first copy this outbound delivery document. And now we'll go to MIGO. and we have to select goods receipt against outbound delivery. We have to enter the outbound delivery number here, press enter, and you can see the 10 quantity has appeared here. And in the storage location, we'll enter the storage location where we have to receive the material. We'll click on item OK and we'll post. Now you can see the material document has been posted, that is the goods receipt has been done. Now in the intra company code stock transfer, we saw that no financial document got posted during 101 document creation. But here, since we are doing the intercompany code stock transfer, so in this 101 document, you will have the financial entries posted. Let's verify that. So we'll go to display, press enter, we'll go to document info and we'll click on FI documents. So you can see accounting document has been created against this GR document. And if we double click the accounting document, we can see that inventory GL has been debited and you have a credit entry against the GRIR clearing account. So this is similar to the purchase order goods receipt, where you have a debit entry in the inventory GL and you have a credit entry in the GRIR clearing GL. And if you verify the transaction key, you can see against inventory line, the transaction key is BSX, and against the GRIR, the transaction key is WRX. So this thing you have to remember that for intercompany code stock transfer process, in the GR also you will have a financial document getting posted. Okay. Now, once we have done the goods receipt, the next step that we have to do is we have to post the invoice of the vendor. The vendor in this case is the supplying plant. So as we do in a normal purchase order, we have done the GR and then we have to do the MIGO process. So to post the invoice, we'll go to MIGO. So now let's post the MIGO transaction. So we'll go to MIGO. We'll enter an invoice date. We'll enter a reference number here. And here we have to enter the stock transport order against which we have posted the goods receipt. So you can see the amount which was entered in the purchase order and the quantity has appeared here. This is similar to how we do the MIGO for a normal purchase order which is placed on any vendor. Okay, so here we are doing the whole procure to pay process. We have already done the order to cash process where we created the delivery and we did the billing. Now we are completing the procure to pay process in which we have created the purchase order, we have done the goods receipt, and now we are doing the invoice processing. Okay, so here we have quantity and the value. We'll click on calculate tax, enter a baseline date. We have to enter a business place here. And here we have to enter the invoice value. Click on simulate. So you can see here a credit entry will be posted against the vendor. The vendor in this case is the supplying plant, and the GRIR will get cleared, and this is the tax entry. So now we'll click on post. So you can see here the MIGO document has been posted. Now let us see all the documents in the PO display. So we'll go to ME23N. And now you can see in the purchase order history, we have all the documents which was created in this whole intercompany stock transfer process. So first what we did, we posted a delivery document, you can see here. Then we posted a goods issue. This is 643 document. Here the financial entries that were posted was, there is a credit entry against the supplying plant's inventory and a debit entry against the cost of goods sold. You can see here. If you go to the FI documents and go to accounting document, you can see a credit entry against the inventory and a debit entry against the cost of goods sold, which is the consumption GL. And the transaction keys are BSX and GBB. Then we posted the goods receipt through movement type 101. Here also we had financial entries being posted. If you go to this 101 document, click on FI document. Here you will see you have a debit entry against the inventory GL and a credit entry against the GRIR clearing GL. And this GRIR entry we cleared through the MIGO transaction. So let's see that. So after we posted this 101 document, we posted this invoice receipt. So let's open this invoice receipt. And if you click on follow on documents, you can see here the credit entry has happened against the vendor. In this case, is the supplier plant, and a debit entry against the GRIR clearing account and a tax entry. Now, apart from this, we also posted a billing document. And to go to the billing document, we'll have to go to the delivery. And then we have to click on document flow. And here you can see this billing document was created, and against this particular accounting document was created. And the whole flow you can see here also, you have a stock transport order, that is this purchase order, then you have a delivery document, a picking request, then you have a goods issue document, then you have a billing document, and here you have a accounting entry against this billing document, and finally you have a goods receipt. So all these documents you can see in the document flow of the delivery document. And if you go to the accounting document which was created against this billing document, then we can see what all lines were posted. So you can see here a debit entry against the customer, in this case is the receiving plant, and a credit entry against the sales revenue account. Now let us see how we can do the single step process in this intercompany code stock transfer. So for that we will have to go to the same configuration again. We'll go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG, materials management, purchasing, purchase order, set up stock transport order, and here you have one step procedure. And here we'll have to click on new entries, enter the supplying plant, the receiving plant, and the document type which is NB here, and click on one step checkbox and save. Now let us create a new stock transport order. So we'll go to ME21N. Again, we'll enter the supplier, the purchase organization, purchase group, company code. We'll enter the material code, enter some quantity here, and here we'll enter the receiving plant. And we'll save this purchase order. Now in the next step, we have to create the delivery document. So we'll go to VL10B, enter the purchase order here, and we'll execute. Click on background. Then we'll go to this purchase order. In the purchase order history, we have this delivery document. We'll open this delivery document. We'll go to the change mode here itself, enter the picked quantity, storage location, and we'll click on post goods issue. Now before posting this, we can go to goods movement data and verify the movement type, and you can see here the movement type now being selected is 645. If we go to the earlier purchase order, let's open that purchase order. You can see the movement type that was posted was 643. Now since we are doing in single step process, so this time the movement type is 645, and when we'll post this goods issue, system will post a 101 document simultaneously. So again, let's click on post goods issue. So you have this error here that you have to enter storage location. So we'll have to update the purchase order with the storage location. So let's enter the storage location here. We'll save. Again, we'll go to this delivery document and we'll post the goods issue now. So you can see the document has been created. We'll again display this purchase order. And now you can see the 645 and 101 document both have been created. So you have a goods issue also and a goods receipt happening simultaneously, and this time the movement type is 645. Earlier when we did in two-step process, the movement type was 643. This time the movement is 645. So this is important to remember that for one-step process, for intercompany code stock transfer, the movement type is 645, and for two-step process, the movement type is 643. So in the same document, you have a 645 document getting posted and a 101 document getting posted. So if you click here, you have this 645, and if you click here, you have this 101 document. So this is all about the single step goods receipt for intercompany code stock transfer process. So we have discussed both the process, that is two-step goods receipt and single step goods receipt. Again, when you post in two-step for intercompany code also, when the 643 document gets created, you will have a stock in transit which you can verify through MB5T. Okay, the similar process that happens in the intra-company code also. But there the movement type is 641 for two-step and 647 for single step. We have already seen that. So in this way, we have seen the intra and intercompany code stock transfer process. We have seen that what is the key difference between these processes. So let's summarize everything. So we have discussed in the two parts in this series how we can do the stock transfer process through various methods. So we have discussed essentially four methods. One is the inventory management method without STO. Then we have STO without delivery. Then we have STO with delivery for intra-company code stock transfer process. And we have STO with delivery for intercompany code stock transfer process. So you can see here for inventory management method, the order type is not applicable. That is, the order type is not required. For STO without delivery, the order type is UB. For STO with delivery for intra-company code, the order type is again UB. And for STO with delivery for intercompany code, the order type is NB. Okay, so these are the order types that you have to select while you are creating the stock transport order. Now in inventory management route, the movement type that are posted are 303 and 305 if you are following the two-step process, and movement type 301 is there if you follow the single step process. For STO without delivery, you have only two-step process possible. So in two steps, you have goods issue through 351 and goods receipt through 101. And you can see here single step is not possible. For STO with delivery, in case of intra-company code, if you want to follow the two steps, then the goods issue will happen through movement type 641 and goods receipt will happen through movement type 101. And if you are following single step process, then goods issue and goods receipt will happen simultaneously with movement type 647 and 101 document. Now for STO with delivery in case of intercompany code transfer, if you are following two steps, then goods issue movement type is 643 and goods receipt movement type is 101. And if you are following single step process, then goods issue and goods receipt will happen simultaneously with movement type 645 and 101 document. Now the delivery type that is applicable for these two cases are NL in case of intra-company code and NLCC in case of intercompany code. The schedule line category is NN for intra-company code and NC for intercompany code. Then billing type is only applicable in case of intercompany code and the billing type will be IV. And MIGO processing also is applicable for intercompany code transaction, and here the document type will be RE. Now let us see how prices are determined. So in case of all these three processes, that is inventory management route, STO without delivery and STO with delivery for intra-company code, the price is taken from the supplying plant side and that price is the valuation price of the material. So the supplying plant's valuation price is transferred from supplying to the receiving plant. Now on the screen you can see what all financial entries will happen for all these four processes. We have already discussed the process and we have seen what all financial document get posted when we did the SAP demo. You can see on the screen everything I have mentioned here. So this completes the whole process of stock transfer through all the methods, that is inventory management method, STO without delivery, STO with delivery with intra-company code and intercompany code stock transfer transactions. So I hope that you have liked this video. This was a long video and I have covered it in two parts. If you haven't seen the part 1 on the stock transfer process, then I have kept the link in the description. You can check there. See you in the next video. Thank you very much for supporting me. Thanks a lot.